Speaker, I beg to move that the Senate amendments to the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 14 of 2024 be now considered. Honorable Speaker, and the consultations are too high. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Senate amendments to the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 14 of 2024 be now considered. Honorable Speaker, and I beg the members can afford some few minutes so that we are able to understand each other. Honorable Speaker, whereas it is obligatory for me to move this motion, Honorable Speaker, I also rise actually to reject the motion, Honorable Speaker, based on several things and reasons that I'll be giving to the members in this House. Honorable Speaker, I can barely actually also hear myself. Honorable Speaker and members, the motion before us is very important. And as I said before, as the chairperson of Budget and Appropriations Committee, whereas it is obligatory for me to bring forth this motion, Honorable Speaker, I actually rise to reject the amendments by the Senate for several reasons, Honorable Speaker, that I would wish that members understand and also to communicate clearly on those issues, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the Budget and Appropriations Committee set actually over this recess. And Honorable Speaker, even in our report that I am sure members already have, we have decided to reject the amendments by the Senate, Honorable Speaker, for the following reasons. But before I go to the reasons, I want to make it very categorical and clear for Kenyans and to Kenyans that the National Assembly, the Budget and Appropriations Committee, we 100% support devolution. And Honorable Speaker, we support when resources go to our various counties, because even our governors are trying to do their best in terms of adjudicating and appropriating the monies that we appropriate in this House, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, on the onset, it is important for us to understand that the Budget Committee and this National Assembly, we fully and unequivocally support devolution, and that is why year in, year out, we actually continue to increase the amount of money that we horizontally push to our counties, Honorable Speaker, based on the bill that is before us today. But Honorable Speaker, even as we support our county governments and our governors to do their role, Honorable Speaker, insofar as governing and leading our county governments is concerned. Honorable Speaker, our country and also our devolved governments, Honorable Speaker, we operate on a fixed envelope and an envelope that is quite thin, Honorable Speaker. Just for us to be on the same page, the bill before us, Honorable Speaker, and I was conversing with Honorable Mukoji about it just a few minutes ago. The bill before us is the bill that actually, Honorable Speaker, shares our national cake vertically, Honorable Speaker. Vertically to say, this bill, Honorable Speaker, allocates a block figure that goes as shareable share, Honorable Speaker, equitable share to our counties. And then thereafter, Honorable Speaker, the formula that is made by the Commission for Revenue Allocation, then that money is shared horizontally among the 47 counties. But before us today is basically about vertical share, Honorable Speaker, and shareable revenue to our counties, Honorable Speaker. The rest will be ensuing later. Honorable Speaker, why are we rejecting this motion, Honorable Speaker, and the amendments by the Senate? Honorable Speaker, this House previously passed the same division of revenue bill, Honorable Speaker. But as it should be, then it proceeded to the Senate. Honorable Speaker, when it proceeds to the Senate, in case Senate agreed with this House, Honorable Speaker, then this bill would have gone to the next stage. But Honorable Speaker, as it is procedurally, when there are amendments by the Senate, and then they push back the bill to this House, if this House agrees with the bill, then the bill continues carrying the amendments of the Senate. But Honorable Speaker, when this House rejects, as we are going to do this afternoon, then Honorable Speaker will have to go through a mediation process between this House and the Senate so that we can have a common ground on this matter, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, as we reject this bill, it is thus an opportunity we are requesting from this House that they give us an opportunity to proceed to mediation between this House and the Senate so that we can get a middle ground. Honorable Speaker, what are the facts around it? Honorable Speaker, in the budget policy statement that we passed earlier this year, Honorable Speaker, we were working with a budget then of around 4.18 trillion Kenya shillings. Honorable Speaker, after the passage of the BPS, we have had to relook at our budget, and Honorable Speaker, we have actually been able to slash close to Kenya shillings 270 billion, and therefore the budget we are dealing with now is a budget of around 3.913 trillion Kenya shillings. Honorable Speaker, when we appropriated or when we set the ceilings in the budget policy statement, the shareable revenue or the share, the equitable share that we had provided to our counties was approximately 391 billion Kenya shillings. Honorable Speaker, and this is what I would implore upon my colleagues even to get this point. Whereas we appropriated or we set a ceiling of 391 billion Kenya shillings, when our budget then was 4.18 trillion, even after we slashed the expenditure by the national government by 270 billion Kenya shillings, Honorable Speaker, we have still gone ahead, Honorable Speaker, to let the figure of 391 persist in the current budget of consideration. And therefore we have not affected the equitable share that we actually passed in the budget policy statement, even after we had slashed all the other departments. But Honorable Speaker, when this bill proceeded to the Senate, then the Senate, in their wisdom, thought it is proper that we consider a different figure. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, whereas this House is dealing with a figure of 391 billion, our colleagues in the Senate, Honorable Speaker, have proposed in the current motion that we are debating today a figure of 415 billion Kenya shillings as equitable share, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, there is a gap of Kenya shillings 24.8 billion Kenya shillings. These are the ramifications, Honorable Speaker. We are currently dealing with a deficit to GDP ratio of 2.9%, which is actually, Honorable Speaker, a very modest and a very considerate deficit. In fact, in the region, Honorable Speaker, Kenya is the one operating on the lowest deficit to GDP ratio in terms of the estimates that we'll be debating later on in this House. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, so to say, we want to cap our deficit at 2.9%. And therefore, our budget is inelastic. Whatever amount of money we may want to add to our counties, over and above the 391 billion Kenya shillings, a certain vote has to give way. Because, Honorable Speaker, we are not dealing with an open envelope.
Honorable members on my right, the consultations are too loud. Honorable Nyakundi, Honorable Karido, take your seats. Honorable Meli, we need to hear the chair. Honorable Gashagwa, break the Kamukunji, take your seat. The members on my right, kindly maintain order. Continue, Honorable Chair.
Honorable Speaker, we are dealing with a deficit to GDP ratio of 2.9%, which is the right trajectory for our economy, Honorable Speaker. It is already giving the right signals in our markets. That is why we see even the cost of borrowing is actually coming down domestically and externally. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, it is for the interest of this House and our country that even as we make the current budget, which the current division of revenue bill is a component of, that we have this in mind, Honorable Speaker, that it is proper that we know that the estimates we'll be considering are not inelastic. Honorable Speaker, we are dealing with a closed envelope. And therefore, if, Honorable Speaker, we were to consider a figure higher than the 391 billion Kenya shillings already set in the ceiling at the budget policy statement, Honorable Speaker, therefore, certain votes and certain expenditure lines have to give way. And Honorable Speaker, it is important for this House to also know some of the considerations that are on the table. If we need to add the shareable revenue from 391 billion Kenya shillings, Honorable Speaker, the first proposal is that we slash the RMLF that is going to our counties by 10 billion shillings, Honorable Speaker. And that is the reason why the Budget and Appropriations Committee rejected the report, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the second consideration for us to bridge the gap of the 24 billion is for us to slash NGCDF, Honorable Speaker, from the current proposed figure, Honorable Speaker, and we slash NGCDF by 10 billion Kenya shillings to go into the shareable revenue, Honorable Speaker. If the wisdom of this House is to agree with the Senate, then we'll have no choice than to slash Kenya shillings 10 billion at the RMLF to go to the shareable revenue, Honorable Speaker. And that is one of the reasons why the Budget and Appropriations Committee rejected. Honorable Speaker, secondly, if we were to agree with the current amendments by the Senate, we may have to slash Kenya shillings 10 billion from NGCDF to go to the shareable revenue. And Honorable Speaker, that is the second reason that the Budget and Appropriations Committee rejected those proposals by the Senate, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, as I wind up, I request this House to agree with the Budget and Appropriations Committee. We reject, Honorable Speaker, the proposed amendment by the Senate so that we proceed to the mediation so that we are able to safeguard critical areas which we have already ring-fenced, Honorable Speaker, like RMLF, like NGCDF, which we have already done already. So by this House agreeing for us to reject, we will be saying this, Honorable Speaker, that Kenya shillings 10 billion goes back to the Constituency Roads Committee in our constituencies. By rejecting, Honorable Speaker, we will be saying no to cuts on NGCDF, Honorable Speaker, because NGCDF, or Honorable Speaker, the proposals we are already in the process of doing, Honorable Speaker, and it will be injurious to NGCDF committees across the country, Honorable Speaker, if we agree with the current amendments. Honorable Speaker, I now request the very able Vice Chairperson of the Budget and Appropriations Committee, the Honorable Mary Amase, to second in rejection of these amendments.
Reject. Honorable Amase, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker,
Honorable Amase, other members, let us be orderly. Honorable Kawanjiko, wind up that meeting. Honorable Amase, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for protecting me. Madam Speaker, from the onset, I arise to second the rejection of the proposed amendment bill by the Senate, National Assembly Bill number 14 of 2024. As already alluded by the chair, the discussion is about the variance. National Assembly proposed the 391 billion and the Senate is proposing 415. The issue is that 10 billion difference has got to come from somewhere. Some vote has got to give way. And members, you've already heard the proposals on the table that this money may have to come from the RMLF or probably from the NGCDF. That money has got to come from somewhere if we have to top up this amount to the figure that's being proposed by the Senate. We all understand the state of the economy. We are operating within boundaries set by the BPS. So we cannot accept this proposal. So honorable members, our advice of the Budget Committee is that we reject the proposed amendments. I second, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, I therefore propose the question that the Senate amendment to the Division of Revenue, National Assembly Bill number 14 of 2024 be now considered. Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, I rise to agree with the Committee on Budget and Appropriations. Honorable Speaker, it's important that as we make decisions, we are aware that someone once told us that all choices, Honorable Speaker, have consequences. If, Honorable Speaker, we were to agree with the Senate this afternoon, what the chair of the Budget and Appropriations Committee and his committee are telling us is that in budget making, when you give something, something else must give in. Honorable Speaker, you know the problem we have had with many of our governors with the road maintenance, road fuel levy for road maintenance. Honorable Speaker, you know the spirited effort they have been asking for 10 billion shillings out of the funds that you are receiving in your constituencies for road maintenance. Then the Budget Committee, if we are to agree with the Senate amendments, the Budget Committee will have nothing else to give other than to give in. And you sacrifice your Kera roads maintenance funds to your governors, assuming that they are going to build the same roads that you build. To Honorable Speaker, the chair of the Budget and Appropriations Committee has spoken to the issue of NGCDF. Honorable Speaker, you know the challenges we've had with the NGCDF and the opportunities. And at the time that we have celebrated 20 years of the existence of NGCDF, Kenyans across the country can tell you this is the only tangible money they feel on the ground in terms of projects and even in terms of the monies that we are giving to students for bursaries, Honorable Speaker, including the money for our women reps. The great ladies that we have as women reps across our 47 counties, Honorable Speaker, are doing a far much more commendable job than many governors, Honorable Speaker. The GAF money, you can see what GAF money is doing in every county in this country, Honorable Speaker. Our women leaders, Honorable Speaker, that is why, at the risk of stepping on our my male colleagues' friends,
honorable members, women members, it's totally out of order to shout in the House. You know how you can do what you're doing, but don't shout. Honorable Ishungwa.
Honorable Speaker, I was saying, at the risk of being lynched by many male governors and prospective governors, I have proposed that if I had the ability to alter part of our constitution, I would propose that our women leaders even have the governor position as an affirmative action seat, because they are good in managing funds, Honorable Speaker. And I don't say this, Honorable Speaker, because I'm a father to girls. I have seen, as I grew up, my own mother taking care of the pennies, knowing that when you take care of the pennies, the pounds will take care of themselves. And I believe many women leaders in this country have that belief, that if you take care of the small money they have, these women leaders under GAF have very little, I think about 7 or 8 million shillings per county, but you can see the effect of that money on the ground. How then do we allow those amendments that are coming to take away money from GAF to give it to governors? It will be injustice not to the women leaders, but to the people of Kenya who are depending on their mothers and their sisters in GAF to take care of them in terms of bursaries and social protection funds, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, I don't need to re-emphasize that we never see the value of money that is going to counties across the country, without exception, Honorable Speaker. I know there are some counties like Homa Bay where we can see good work being done. I know there are counties like Nakuru where we can see good work being done. And there are counties that are messy, Honorable Speaker. There are counties where the Auditor General is telling you, my county in Kiambu, close to 1 billion shillings on roads has gone to waste. Close to another 100 million shillings that was being given as fertilizer and chicks, Honorable Speaker, has been stolen, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I don't just say this to support women governors, but I can say without any fear of contradiction, our women leaders are doing a great job as governors, and I would urge Kenyans to continue supporting our women leaders. These are great leaders, Honorable Speaker.
You, Honorable Majority Leader, are you done? Okay. Honorable Junet.
Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, I stand to support the amendments of the Senate, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, let's be honest. And let us be honest to ourselves, and let us be honest to Kenyans, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, some of these counties that you are seeing in this country have seen 1 billion shillings for the first time in their lives after devolution, Madam Speaker. We shall not be used as a house to kill devolution, Madam Speaker. We must stand up, because that is the only way we are going to save devolution, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as you are aware, the Senate has only asked for an increment. They have never said we remove the money from NGCDF. They never said we remove from fuel levy. They never said, Madam Speaker. There are devolved functions that are being held here in Nairobi, like the health functions, like agriculture functions. Why are you keeping those monies in Nairobi here? Why don't you send those monies to the counties, Madam Speaker? That is why we have people eating now fertilizer money in this country, Madam Speaker. Why can't you send those monies to the counties? Madam Speaker, what I am saying, if Osoro might want to know what I am saying, is that we must send more money to the counties. If you want to deal with corruption at the counties, deal with corruption. Jail governors, jail chief officers, and all kinds of people. But you cannot deny the people of Kenya who live in counties money in the pretext of corruption, Madam Speaker. There is more corruption in national government than in the counties, and nobody speaks about it, Madam Speaker. 90% of our resources remain in the national government. It doesn't remain in the counties. We are devolving less than 15% to counties, and we magnify the corruption there as though that is the only money that is in Kenya, Madam Speaker. Monies are in Nairobi. Monies are in ministries. Monies are in PSS and ministers here. That is why we are dealing with issues of fertilizer today, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to urge this House, let us not be used as a house to kill devolution. What is going to bring life to this country? What is going to develop this country? What is going to make this country a first world country, Madam Speaker, is devolution. That is how Germany developed, that is how France developed, and that is how all democracies developed, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to say this.
Hello.
Madam Speaker, I hope, Madam Speaker, let me conclude by saying that you cannot add 6 billion shillings.
Honorable Junet, take your seat. Honorable McClap, what is out of order? And let's get the IT department work on the sound. Honorable McClap.
Madam Speaker, I think we've had enough debate on this matter, and we can call the mover to reply. Madam Speaker, this matter is as good as done, Madam Speaker, and we can invoke Article 95. and call the mover to reply.
I will let Honorable Junet finish.
Madam Speaker, it will be sad, Honorable Makilap, who was a former Speaker of Baringo County, can be used to derail devolution in this country. Madam Speaker, we are dealing with a budget of 3.9 trillion, almost 4 trillion. And we are giving counties only 396 billion, Madam Speaker. And we have added this year, this financial year, only 6 billion shillings, Madam Speaker. If you divide 6 billion shillings by 47 counties, every county is going to get 30 million shillings. What kind of money is that? What kind of money is that? Is that enough for to develop this country? Madam Speaker, let us be honest to each other. If we want to develop this country, we must devolve funds. If there are issues of corruption, we must deal with them. We cannot use corruption to stifle devolution, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, look at what's happening to devolution. Since the inception 2013, the devolution is struggling to get their required amount of money. Madam Speaker, in this House, when we are dealing with the devolution, with the division of revenue, we are supposed to divide this money vertically first between counties and national government, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, if you hate your governor, that is your own problem. You can go and sort out your issues at home.
You are totally out of order. Totally. Out of order. Honorable Junet, wind up.
Madam Speaker, I want to tell Honorable Osoro, if you hate your governor, you can go and sort out your problems at home. If you want to run for governor, it's up to you. If you want to run for MCA, it's up to you. But the fact of the matter is, the only monies that Kenyans are enjoying is the money that goes to devolution, Madam Speaker. No other money is on the ground. And the NGCDF, those two monies, county governments and CDF money, that is all, Madam Speaker. All the other monies are in the hands of people like Lituri. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable members, in my own evaluation, I see there are still some interested members to speak on this motion. So I will not put the question. I will give 2 people from my right, and I will give another 2 on my left. If there is more, we will continue for a while. Honorable Mukunji, you have the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me start by saying I rise to reject in totality, Honorable Speaker, the Division of Revenue Bill as it has come from Senate. Honorable Speaker, I want to first correct Honorable Member Junet, that in his constituency he doesn't have to do work for him to be elected. He just have to say the name of a person I don't want to mention. Honorable Speaker, the Constitution of Kenya says that you only have, by Constitution, to give 15% of the revenue to the county government, Honorable Speaker. This year, Honorable Speaker, we have actually added from last year from 375 billion to 391 billion, Honorable Speaker, to the county governments. Honorable Speaker, many people will agree with me that the money that goes to the county is invisible compared to any other resources that come through GAF, NGCDF, and Honorable Speaker, money that is actually appropriated through CARE, Honorable Speaker. And it is unfair to continue adding these monies without seeing results, Honorable Speaker. I want to say that, Honorable Speaker, we need to actually encourage conditional grants to county governments more than giving them a budget line that is going, Honorable Speaker, to be going to their pockets and actually to salaries and remuneration and entertainment for our governors, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we actually need to empower NGCDF and other funds, Honorable Speaker, because, Honorable Speaker, what we have done in this country in the name of devolution is created semi-gods and people who actually enrich themselves without the thought of our people that require resources and work to be done. Honorable Speaker, while we are discussing this, it is important for this House to critically think about empowering our county assemblies. These are people who have actually been given few coins And we need to actually ensure Watford and their own autonomy is maintained so that, Honorable Speaker, we don't create people who can run away with the whole budget and without even thinking twice, Honorable Speaker, they can only be sought after they have done with their term. Honorable Speaker, I was reading the paper yesterday and I saw a whole page full of faces of former governors in very unscrupulous way, Honorable Speaker, having acquired monies and they are under investigations. It is critical for this House to think of how and what works is what is supposed to be empowered. What doesn't work, Honorable Speaker, is not supposed to be empowered. Honorable Speaker, as the chairman of Kenya Young Parliamentarians, I want to reject in totality the bill, and we need to go to mediation so that we can give governors what is supposed to be given to them. Honorable Speaker, I reject. Thank you.
Minority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. And I want to join my colleagues in supporting the motion. And Honorable Speaker, from the outset, I want to say that I agree in totality with the Senate in their proposed amendments to the division of revenue bill. Honorable Speaker, let me say this, and you know, the Honorable Chairman of Budget is a noble man and a very good student of economics and finance. What the Senate amendments are saying in very simple and layman language is that in our own calculations, the counties need much more than what you have allocated them. That increase this money from 396 billion to 415 billion shillings. The Senate is not telling us that remove money from energy CDF, remove money from road maintenance levy, whatever. The Senate is simply saying that the counties require much more than you have given them. So it is incumbent. It is incumbent upon us that to look round in a budget of 3.9 trillion Kenya shillings, to look around and find out where can we get these extra monies and reallocate to the counties. That is the plain, simple language that the Senate is actually communicating. Honorable Speaker, I am one of those people who would be totally opposed to removing money from energy CDF. I am also one of those people who will be totally opposed to interfering with the road maintenance levy fund. Honorable Speaker, we know that the counties are dealing with very, very critical functions that go to the heart of the common person at the grassroots. The counties are in charge of agriculture. The counties are in charge of health. The counties are in charge of water. The counties are in charge of social services. The counties are in charge of rural roads and all those other functions that are critical. What has happened in this country in the past that we must deal with, that we must confront, is the fact that we were able to devolve functions. We were able to divide these functions without actually doing proper costing of the functions. The end result is that counties have been given functions which they are unable to perform, Honorable Speaker. Counties have been given functions without the requisite funds to manage those functions. It is a duty, it is a historic duty of this House to right those wrongs. The only way to right those wrongs is to be reasonable, is to be sensible, is to address these issues objectively. Honorable Speaker, my own layman mind tells me that even the 415 billion that the senators are proposing could still be way below what the county governments need. Honorable Speaker, in the fullness of time, we might actually find that the county governments require much more money. Honorable Speaker, I'll be proposing that after this current budget cycle, we agree as a House to perhaps constitute a select committee, a special committee, to look at this whole aspect, this whole issue of functions and their costing. Honorable Speaker, unless we do that, we shall continue to starve counties of the monies they need to implement, to perform the functions that they have been accorded, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, this is a no-brainer. I want to plead to my colleagues to support this motion and endorse the amendments as proposed by the Senate. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, you'll give me some time. I said I'll give 2 from my right and 2 from my left. I have given 1 each. I'll now give the majority whip.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I think it's important for us not to engage ourselves in populism politics when we are discussing very, very serious matters. We all live in this country, Honorable Speaker. NGCDF has been in existence for over 20 years. Yeah, for about 20 years, Honorable Speaker. Devolution in this country came into place in 2013. But you can hardly show what devolution or county governments have done compared to what NGCDF does. Honorable Speaker, it's important for us to also to be very factual. Some of these governors that we are defending so much, that we are or county governments that we are defending to have a lot of money, cannot even spend the amount, cannot even spend the entire amount whenever they get it. We are getting into the closure of the financial year, but you'll realize that some governors have not even spent a quarter of the amounts that they got when the financial year started. I mean, really, here we are debating on how we can be able to add them more funds for roads. When we all live in this country that governors do not even do roads, or the county governments are not working. We are telling them, this House, if we allow the proposal by the Senate on the division of revenue bill, Honorable Speaker, it will then mean that the amounts that we place for the 22% that is under the control of the members of parliament should be managed or governed by the governors. When we know their incapacitation, when we know they are not able, when we know they will not do it, when we know they will use it for other purposes. Honorable Speaker, in totality, when you say that you have the money, like Honorable Opium Wandai has said, you must show which place you are taking this money from. Who are you subtracting to add for the county revenue? Which person are you subtracting? And in this case, the main casualty will be the members of parliament. It will be the NGCDF. It will be the NGAF. Instead, we should actually be discussing on how we can add NGCDF money. We discuss on how we can be able to add NGAF, because at least we are able to see what NGCDF is doing, what NGAF is doing. Members of parliament seated on the opposite side, Honorable Speaker, are only playing populism politics. They know even from the counties they come from, it's nothing. I see Honorable Rene shouting, but in her county there is nothing. Roads are pathetic. I was there last weekend. The roads that are done by the governor Nyaribo in Nyamira is zero. He's doing nothing. I see Honorable Obadia complaining here, but you go to Bamachoge Borabu, the village roads that are supposed to be done by the county governments have not been done. They are pathetic. The ECD classes that they are supposed to build are not being built. We cannot add money to the counties. To whom much is given, much is expected.
Honorable members, do not raise your hands. Honorable Kibagendi, use your cards. Honorable Mayaka, you don't shout.
Yeah, use your cards.
I cannot see you on my screen. Stop shouting in the House.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. As I wind up, Honorable Speaker, to whom much is given, much is expected. A lot has been given to the county governments, but we can hardly see. You will need a microscope to identify what governors do. But everything NGCDF does is in full glare of the eyes of everybody. Everything that the NGAF is doing is visible. But you'll need a microscope to see what governors are doing. You will see classes being built by NGCDF across the country. You will actually mark. But in the county government structure, you will actually need a microscope. The only development those guys are doing is walking in a convoy of 20 vehicles, moving around funerals, one vehicle carrying a chair, another vehicle carrying carpets, another vehicle carrying goons, another vehicle carrying microphones,
another vehicle carrying your girlfriend, and then they go there, they disrupt functions in barrios, carrying themselves in high titles, and then you are discussing on how to add the money here. Governors should be subtracted money, not being added. And that subtraction should come to NGCDF and NGAF. And for that reason, Honorable Speaker, we reject the proposal by the Senate on the Division of Revenue Bill. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Okay, honorable members, I will then give the member for Migori, Honorable Fatuma.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to support this because I come from Migori County. I also have a governor called Ochilo Ayako who is working. Honorable Osoro, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, Honorable Osoro has a personal problem with Simbarati. I can give you guidelines on fighting him, but saying that county's money was going to kindly be a man. Stop being a woman in a market. Honorable Osoro is interfering with me. Honorable Osoro, I can tell you 100 times that you are shouting and your misbehavior cannot remove Simbarati from his position. He is the governor, and please give Simbarati time to work. All you do is fight and plan to kill him. That will not remove him from the seat. Madam Speaker, there's too much noise, I can't contribute. Madam Speaker.
Yes.
Madam Speaker, I support this.
Madam Chair,
You are not on microphone. Order, members. Order, members. Point of order is not done by shouting. Honorable member for Madeira, it is not shouting. You put your card and put intervention. Honorable Bowen, what is out of order?
thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, the debate before us, Madam Chair, is about division of revenue bill. But it is not about, I had the honorable member for Migori. It's not about Simbarati and Osoro.
Osoro specified.
Madam Speaker, I was just asking if the member is in order to discuss people who are not in this house and also to stick to the relevance of the debate in the house. Who is killing who? And who is killing who, Madam Chair? Because she made some unsubstantiated claims of killings. I think the Honorable Chair of Migori is completely out of order.
Honorable Fatuma. Honorable Fatuma. Did you make unsubstantiated?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't, no. Madam Speaker.
Order, members.
Madam
I am
Speaker,
addressing Honorable Fatuma.
Yes, Madam Speaker. I did not make such statement, but he was shouting back, and he was shouting about Simbarati, so I answered him back. I only said what he said in my own words, in my voice. But he knows what I'm talking about, Madam Speaker. Kindly allow me to contribute. Madam Speaker, I think the other side is blackmailing the other MPs. I don't see anywhere where the senator said that the money will be taken from NCDF or NGAF. So let us be honest. You have cheated Kenyans enough times, and we can't continue cheating Kenyans.
Honorable,
when it comes to this,
member for Migori, stick to the relevant topic. But
I am very relevant, Madam Speaker.
Members on my right also maintain decorum. Honorable Fatuma, continue.
Madam Speaker, I'm very relevant because I listened to the two speakers from the other side, what they said. And they said that NGAF is working well, NCDF is working well. My point is this. I agree 100% that NCDF is working well and NGAF, but I don't see anywhere in that bill where they have stated that money will be taken from this other kitty. So the Kenyans are watching. Let us be honest with Kenyans. We can't continue blackmailing Kenyans anymore. Counties need more money. We have seen many things that were not in other counties. Madam Speaker, I would like to bring to this House that not everybody voted for this government. And we are known that a government that you never voted for always do not give you development. It is only the county government that comes to our rescue, especially the minority. So we cannot blackmail here and talk of NCDF. Look at Honorable Osoro. When I talk of those statements like killing because of his behavior, he behaved so badly. Like a first time who never even went to school. We went to school, let us behave like people went to school. Arati will win whether you like it or not. Madam Speaker,
Order. Honorable members, we do not make aspersions to one another in this house. Honorable members, as I had promised, we will do two on my right side and two on the minority side, then I will put the question. Order, members. I therefore put the question. Oh, yes, before we get to the question, we will have the Chair, Budget and Appropriations Committee to reply.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And I actually rise to agree with all the members who have had a contribution to make this afternoon. I agree with the members on the right side of the Speaker, and I also agree with the members on the left side of the Speaker. I agree with the Majority Leader as much as I...
Kindly, as I said, use your cards. I will go with your cards. If you have a point of order, I need to see on my screen.
Honorable Speaker, I agree with the Majority Leader, Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah, as much as I agree with the Minority Leader, Honorable Opio, Honorable Speaker. I agree with Honorable Osoro, as much as I agree with Honorable Junet.
Member for Suba North, what is out of order? Hold on, Honorable Dende.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I do apologize for the Chair of Budget, who is my chair. I don't want to interrupt him. But, Madam Speaker, I don't think it is in order for Honorable Osoro to be physically making sexually suggestive gestures in this house. He is pointing to his penis in this house while pointing at Honorable Fatuma. It is completely out of order. It is abhorrent. It is backward. Madam Speaker, it is not allowed in this house.
Order.
We don't even know whether he performs. What is he showing us here?
Order, Honorable Mili. Order, Honorable Mili. Honorable Majority Whip is not the one on the floor. If it is something out of order, it has to be something the Honorable Member for Kiharo is doing. Or so continue, Honorable Member for Kiharo.
Okay. Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker. No. Okay. Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Member for Suba North. I know you are never ashamed of your sexuality, but I don't think we have gotten to that point. Honorable Mili. So let's allow Member for Kiharo to finish. Finish your reply, Honorable Member for Kiharo.
Speaker, I thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, I'll take very short time, so I request members, if it's possible, we can listen to each other. Honorable Speaker, I have listened to all the members in this house this afternoon, and I actually agree with all of them. I agree with the Majority Leader, Honorable Ichung'wah, at the same breath as I agree with Honorable Opio and I, Honorable Speaker, who is my former chair in PAC. Honorable Speaker, I agree with Honorable Osoro, and also I agree with Honorable Junet, as much as I agree, Honorable Fatuma, as much as I agree with Honorable Mokoji and all the others. The reason for saying that, Honorable Speaker, there are some things that are without any doubt. That number one, this House supports devolution, as it was said by Honorable Junet. Just for the record purpose, ourselves on the right side, we support devolution as much as the right side, Honorable Speaker. This money goes to our counties, and we want our counties to develop. Honorable Speaker, we also have governors who are doing a good job, Honorable Speaker, including across the country, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this is the only departure point, that the amount of money we are considering is limited. But even as such, Honorable Speaker, I agree with all the members, Honorable Speaker, that we need to give our counties more money, Honorable Speaker. And that is why the Budget and Appropriations Committee, actually in the budget policy statement, we went ahead, Honorable Speaker, and added our county government Kenya shillings 4 billion in conditional grants. Honorable Speaker, the money that is already there, it was not touched, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, it is the same reason, Honorable Speaker, as was stated by Honorable Junet, as was stated by Honorable Fatuma, Honorable Speaker, that our counties need more money. That is the same reason, Honorable Speaker, we were able to increase the monies going to our counties horizontally from Kenya shillings 375 billion to 381 billion Kenya shillings. Honorable Speaker, even beyond the constitutional threshold of 15%, the current consideration is actually 24%, Honorable Speaker. And therefore we agree our counties need more money. It is the same way, Honorable Speaker, that we agree we need more money in GAF. We need more money to electricity. We need more money to the agricultural sector. We need more money to all the other sectors. We agree in that, Honorable Speaker. The only thing I beseech honorable members that we consider, that when we are dealing with a static deficit of 2.9%, we are dealing with a closed envelope. In that closed envelope, Honorable Speaker, if you want to increase monies in the shareable revenue, Honorable Speaker, the equitable share, then something has to give way. And Honorable Speaker, the low-lying fruit across this debate, because it is not new, I want members to listen to me carefully, Honorable Speaker. If there are motions that we bring as budget committee, which we are almost indifferent, it is like this one. Whichever way the House votes, the budget committee is okay with it, Honorable Speaker. The only thing I want to beseech this House, then when we bring the estimates and you see some cuts in other areas, Honorable Speaker, will only be fulfilling your vote of today. So when we vote to increase money from 391 to 415, the budget committee is indifferent, Honorable Speaker, because you are your servants. But Honorable Speaker, where we target most as the government, as parliament, is where there has been increments. If you look at the budget policy statement, which areas had increments, Honorable Speaker? One area that had an increment, and therefore is a low-lying fruit, is 50 million shillings for electricity to every constituency. The second low-lying fruit is NGCDF, which we added 8 billion. The other, Honorable Speaker, is RMLF. That is why I request this House to vote nay, Honorable Speaker, to safeguard those votes, Honorable Speaker, and I seek to move.
Okay, honorable members. Honorable members. Honorable members. I therefore put the question that the Senate amendments to the Division of Revenue Bill, National Bill number 14 of 2024, be now considered. As many as are of that opinion say aye. As many as are of a contrary opinion say nay. The nays have it. Next order.
Order number 11 motion ratification of the multilateral convention to implement tax treaty related measures to prevent base erosion and profit shifting MLI. Mover to reply.
The next order is already called. Take your seats. Honorable members, the next motion, there was a typo on the order paper. We'll have the mover reply. The chairperson, Departmental Committee on Finance.